Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, March 11. Starting April 1, the government will be cutting $18 billion in taxes. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement during Tuesday's opening of the 2020-2021 budget debate in Parliament. Among the measures is a 1.5% reduction in general consumption tax (GCT), moving the figure from 16.5% to 15%.
Cut in the rate of GCT will leave, big difference, will leave more disposable income in the economy, which will boost economic activity, which should benefit all households and firms.
Other measures under the $18 billion tax cut include a 50% reduction of the asset tax paid by financial institutions. And micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, that file taxes will benefit from a tax credit of $375,000.
By removing overall tax burden on MSMEs, we will also reduce incentive for informal operations. MSMEs are an integral part of Jamaica's economic activity, and this incentivizes formalization, and we capture their contribution to growth, Mr. Speaker.
The Finance Minister also announced other tax measures to stimulate economic growth. The cocoa, coffee, and coconut industries will benefit from a 50% reduction on aggregate fees charged by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA. The Trade Board is reducing fees charged for all non-motor vehicle-related activities by 50%. In the meantime, $2 billion in budgetary support has been released to mitigate and manage coronavirus or COVID-19 on the island. Jamaica recorded its first imported case on March 10. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the money is an advance from the 2020-2021 budget and will be reflected in the first supplementary estimates to be tabled at a later date.
It will include expenditure, Mr. Speaker, to procure adequate medical and other supplies, to procure essential medical equipment, to improve the capacity of our public health facilities across the island, to handle existing caseload in the context of COVID-19, and to prepare facilities for quarantine. And, Mr. Speaker, to provide basic services for persons who may need to be quarantined and the training of medical staff and for other goods and services.
Dr. Clark says $7 billion has also been set aside to ensure that the Ministry of Health and Wellness is adequately resourced should the virus become pervasive.
In this $7 billion COVID-19 contingency, Mr. Speaker, we are prepared to consider other health, social protection, security, economic, or other temporary cash flow relief expenditure that may be useful to contain the health and economic impact of the COVID virus, should conditions deteriorate that necessitates a broader response.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is reassuring the public that government has been taking all the necessary precautions to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, on the island. Mr. Holness issued the statement at the office of the Prime Minister Tuesday. He said schools had been asked to not send students to the pen relays, while government officials and ministers have been directed to postpone non-essential travel. At the political level, information will flow through an ad hoc bipartisan parliamentary committee and directly to the leader of the opposition. While expressing confidence in the island's medical professionals and the public health system, Mr. Holness asked for calm in dealing with the virus.
There is no need for panic, hysteria, fear-mongering, or spreading misinformation. This will only detract from the efforts of the government and redirect time and precious resources to correcting false information and resolving unnecessary disputes. I give you my assurance that the government will provide accurate and verified information in a timely manner on all pertinent matters relating to COVID-19.
Meanwhile, Jamaicans are being urged to stop the practice of panic buying in the wake of the island recording its first confirmed case of imported COVID-19. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says there's adequate supplies on supermarket shelves and prices should remain stable. He adds that the distributive trade has been ensuring that there's a constant supply of goods for consumers.
I know that you will be hearing the message that you should be forward planning and anticipating and ensuring that you are pre-positioning and having the necessary supplies in reach of the island, should in case the situation escalates to the point where we would need to have such provisions made.
Mr. Holness was speaking Monday at Progressive Grocers Banquet in celebration of its 20th anniversary. And the Prime Minister is assuring that the Ministry of Health and Wellness has adequate supplies to contain the spread of COVID-19. Prime Minister Andrew Holness issued the confirmation during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. He said the Health Ministry had enough testing kits, medicine, gloves, masks, gowns, and hazmat suits to last for a significant period.
I am confident that all the protocols that have been announced, protocols for restriction on travel, protocols for testing for temperatures, for cruise ships that are coming and at our airports, the quarantine protocols, the isolation protocols, all of those are being followed.
And finally, the National Water Commission, NWC, is urging citizens to use effective water conservation techniques while combating COVID-19. The NWC says it stands ready to partner with the requisite state agencies to ensure that the population, especially the vulnerable, have access to safe potable water. The NWC says while persons are encouraged to practice good hygiene, such as frequent hand washing, it is important that these habits are carried out without the wastage of water. The Commission is reminding customers not to leave taps running while washing hands and to utilize the reduce, recycle, reuse strategy. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.